Edit. Had a conversation with my wife. I'll let her know that the friend group sent me a message saying that my wife is toxic. She agreed that she has been petty with the girls because she has seen them isolating her. She said that there is merit to the way they are treating her, and she will sit down with the one she considers her best friend to listen to her on what my wife's faults are which allowed this situation to happen. She cried and took the feedback to heart. Thank you Reddit. My wife always had acquaintances, but never true friendships. I introduced her to my large friend group and everyone immediately accepted her. But over the past 2 to 3 years, she has lost a majority of all the girlfriends because she makes every conversation about her and starts to belittle all of the girls. Every conversation turns into what she wants to talk about and what we have done as a couple compared to what everyone else has done. She rarely asks the girls anything about them, but will always go out of her way to tell her life story every single time. I received a text from one of my best friends that his wife doesn't want to hang out with us anymore because she believes my wife is too toxic and ruins the night every time we hang out. They were already distant in the past couple of months and I sensed it, but last night they confirmed that they would rather be distant and be okay than try to continue to be close and end up hating the relationship. His wife and my wife were best friends for a solid 8 months, but that relationship is gone. I know it's true because I have seen it in every party. I see her making every single conversation about her and rarely listening but always talking, rarely asking but always telling. How do I tell my wife that I received this text message that a person she considers her best friend wants to officially cut ties and be distant because she thinks my wife is toxic? TL. Doctor, introduce my wife to all of my friends. She has befriended on all the girls and gradually lost most of them in the past 2 years because of ego. I got a text to confirm what I always thought. How do I gently tell her without offending her or putting her on the defensive? I have a friend like that. A few months back I lost my cool after everything I said switched back to her. I just started talking louder and louder each time she cut me off. She just talked louder and louder over me. I ended up telling her to shut up and explained how she dominated every conversation. She looked totally shocked and apologized. She still continues to do it. I honestly believe these kind of people are too self-centered to stop. Good luck. Lol, my best friend's aunt is like this. I usually just interrupt her or stop listening or try to pawn her off on someone else that comes over. She's okay when she's not hogging the convo but it always comes back to her and it's probably something she's told me 100 times. We need more info here. Does she act like this with you as well? Is she doing that only to girls or to everyone? Is she noticing people going missing and is she bothered by it? Is this about lack of social skills or about actively looking down on everyone? Honey, you belittle people too often and they are getting tired of it. For example, insulted Anna when you said, and then insulted Andrea when you said, we are going to be isolated. Then move from there. Even if she is willing, this won't change overnight. It takes a lot of time and effort to learn new attitudes and communication style. It also takes a lot of introspection about why is she so insulting in the first place. Why especially against girls, why she can't listen etc. Good advice. You're seeing the same bleak future many of us are seeing if this goes unchecked. Once she runs out of other people to belittle, only you will be left. When they came for the female friends, I said nothing. This happened to me with my ex-BF, and I ended up being isolated of my friend group. Maybe you should start hanging out with your friends on your own and let her make her plans, because it'll probably end up in isolation for yourself and it sucks. I would take her for a walk, somewhere safe and comfortable like the beach. Then I would say, I want to talk about something that is sensitive. I love you, and I'm only looking out for your best interest. But I have noticed that we are having less social interactions with friends. What do you think might be happening? Listen to what has to say. Respond with empathy. Then if she's not self-aware about she's doing, then bring it up. Tell her how you feel. Remind her that you're coming from a loving and caring place. You are there to help her through this. This is what I needed to hear. This is the right approach. Thanks, I highly appreciate this comment. I broke up with a girl who was like this. I'm much happier now. I defended a woman like this. Sad, but gotta do what you gotta do. Has your wife ever expressed distress over these lost friendships? Has she ever expressed interest in being friends with people? Does she treat *YOU* any better than she treats other people? Right now it's kinda hard to gauge how productive this conversation is likely to be without knowing if your wife actually cares about how other people perceive her. You haven't really included any information about how she's reacted in the past when people dropped her from their lives. Or, really, any information about her emotions at all. How do I gently tell her without offending her or putting her on the defensive? This suggests to me that she tends to always take things the wrong way, and you're often walking on eggshells around your wife and can't be honest with her without a huge backlash. Is she any better with you than with all of your friends? I'd suggest couples counseling. Hopefully she's not so narcissistic that she can't ever be in the wrong, because if that's the case, you're in deep to do with this marriage. This suggests to me that she tends to always take things the wrong way, and you're often walking on eggshells around your wife and can't be honest with her without a huge backlash. It does seem that Op is trying to be non-confrontational and doesn't know how to tell his wife without backlash of some kind. Damn, my dude's name is literally Toxicwifeproblems. RIP. My mother-in-law is like this and literally has no friends left. But there is no way anyone would be able to actually tell her anything because she is the smartest. I feel sorry for her sometimes, but most of the time she is annoying and I can't wait to not be around her. I wish there was a way to explain this to people like this, but I haven't found a way. If you find a way, let us know, but I think this has to do with self-esteem and maybe even hints of ADHD. In my experience, toxic behavior in and so will eventually circle around to being pointed at you. Address it politely but firmly and see if it's a core part of her personality or something she would like to work on. I was told 2 things, but they were a little harsh. One, the common link in all your failed friendships is you two. Have you ever thought about the odds of bumping into 3 assholes in a row? At the time I was, it happens all the time. Then I was, wait, I'm creating them. You should ask your friends what they think of your relationship. Do they think your wife is good for you? If she's so awful that they are willing to distance themselves from you to get away from her, do they think you need to get away too? A lot of comments are suggesting that she treats you badly, but your friends will know better than we do. Schedule some alone time with them and see what they say. You don't. I can't imagine she doesn't treat you this way as well, or didn't to begin with. You can broach it as something you've noticed, because you have. It might be really hard and might feel mean, but telling her that her personality may be coming off in a negative way is important. She obviously is oblivious to it. She probably ruins daily interactions and doesn't even know it. This can affect her job if it hasn't already. It's already affecting her personal life. Try coaching her on how to talk to people, like listening, asking questions about what they said, then maybe relating it back to you, stuff like that. Hey, I have something important to talk to you about. I just got a text from friend. They don't want to hang out with you anymore, and you think you need to be told why, because it affects every potential friendship you might have or lose. When you talk to them, in the conversation, if often sound like you boast a lot, and if anyone tries to talk about anything else you put them down. It makes them want to avoid talking to you. Do you ever notice you're yourself doing this? See what she says. She may need to train herself out of doing it, and if it's because she's insecure, therapy might help too. Some people boast because they think that if they aren't constantly selling how great they are, others will see their weaknesses and dislike them. In addition to telling her, I would also gently nudge her to let others have the floor in group settings. Something like, hey wife, that's great. Let's hear what others have to say. Probably something less awkward. She might be self-aware, but finds it hard to take a step back as there is a bunch of things she wants to add into the conversation. Another great suggestion, which can operationally be put into practice right away,